You have people around you. And still, some nights you feel completely alone. Not from isolation, from something harder to name. There is an ancient Chinese story that explains what that feeling actually is, and what to do about it. Not by filling the silence, by understanding what kind of silence it is. Wei felt it every day. She had dinner with friends most weekends. Messages waited on her phone. Colleagues laughed at the right moments. She smiled and answered, and went home and sat in the quiet, feeling like she had traveled somewhere far away without ever arriving. One evening, she found an old book. Inside was a story she had never read. A musician named Yu Boya played the guqin so well that people said mountains stirred when he played, but no one truly understood what his music meant. He played for officials. They praised his technique. He played at banquets. People applauded. But no one heard what he was actually saying. Then he met a woodcutter named Zhong Ziqi. When Yu Boya played a piece about mountains, Zhong Ziqi closed his eyes and said, "I see the peaks rising." When Yu Boya played of flowing water, Zhong Ziqi said, "The river turning wide." Yu Boya wept. In all his years of playing, no one had ever simply heard him. The two men became the closest of friends, and when Zhong Ziqi died, Yu Boya broke his instrument. He cut the strings with his own hands, and he never played again. Wei set the book down. She did not know why her chest felt tight. The classical tradition calls what Yu Boya found Zhi Yin. Zhi means to know, to recognize. Yin means sound. Together, the one who knows your sound. But the deeper meaning is not about music. It is about the nature of connection itself. We are taught that connection is built. That if we are open enough, communicative enough, present enough, understanding will arrive. We treat the self like a door. We believe the right knock will open it. What Zhi Yin suggests is different. True understanding is not constructed. It is recognized. The way you recognize a face you have never seen, but somehow feel you have always known. Wei thought about this for weeks. She decided to close the gap. She became more open. She shared things she had kept private. She asked more questions. She stayed longer in conversations. She tried harder to explain herself, and the loneliness got worse. Not because the people around her were unkind. They listened. They responded. They tried. But something did not transfer. She would explain what she meant. They would nod. She would leave, still feeling unseen. She was no longer playing music. She was demonstrating technique. And technique, however precise, cannot move a mountain. She called her friend Lin one evening, not to explain, just to talk. Lin listened. At one point she said, almost without thinking, "I never quite know what you mean, but I always feel like there's something more underneath it. I like that about you." Wei went quiet. She had spent months trying to be understood. Lin had just told her she was. Not because Wei had explained herself better, because Lin had ears for that particular sound. This was what Yu Boya had broken his instrument over. Not grief alone. He broke it because without Zhong Ziqi, there was no one left to play for. Not because music requires an audience, because some music is only fully itself when it is truly heard. That night, Wei sat still for a long time. She placed her hands on her knees. She felt the warmth there, her own warmth, quiet and present. She thought, the music existed before the listener. Yu Boya had played for decades before Zhong Ziqi ever appeared. The music was real, even in the years of being unheard. She stopped trying to explain herself to people who could not hear the melody. She started spending more time with Lin. Not often. Just when it felt like landing in the right key. She stopped measuring connection by volume. She started measuring it by depth. Months passed. The loneliness did not disappear, but it changed shape. It became more honest. The loneliness of a musician who knows that Zhi Yin is rare and plays anyway. Not in resignation, in respect for what the music actually is. Most loneliness is not a failure of effort. It is a failure of recognition. Trying to build with force what can only be received with openness. You cannot manufacture a Zhi Yin. But you can stop hiding the music. This is also why the loneliness that follows real loss feels different from ordinary solitude, and why the classical answer to grief begins somewhere most people never think to look. 1. The next time you feel unheard, notice where you feel it in your body first, before you reach for an explanation. 2. Think of one person who has ever said the exact right thing without being told what that was. Reach out to them this week, not to explain anything, just to be near them. 3. Sit quietly for 5 minutes today. Ask yourself, what am I actually saying underneath what I say out loud? You do not need to share the answer. Just hear it yourself first. Have you ever felt completely understood by someone? And been surprised by who that person was? Tell me in the comments. Thank you for watching. Somewhere, the Guqin lay still on the riverbank. The strings were gone. The water kept moving.